Hello everyone there. I hope you're all good. My name is Ricky. If you're new here to the channel, hi. We have a new microphone. We're not going to talk too much about the microphone because we talked a lot about the microphone in the last video. But I just want to let you guys know that we've been slowly upgrading here on the channel and making sure that the quality improves because you can only post as many videos as I do a week and not like want to be able to keep on progressing. My camera is going to remain to be my iPhone, but let's grow this channel. Let's do this thing and let's get into it. All right, so this is a kind of a story that I don't really tell many people when I first meet them. Well, especially when I first meet them because it's a bit heavy, but I just wanted to like go into the lifestyle of being an international student, what it personally means to me, how did I become an international student, the lifestyle, the trials and tribulations, all of that good stuff. So let's start at the beginning, which is a very good place to start. So if you don't know, I'm doing my master's in international law here at the University of Westminster in London. The thing that kind of like helped me get here to the place I am started all the way back when I was a freshman in high school. I just finished freshman year. I was 15 and I was just not having a good time at home, in my hometown, in the state, in America. Lots of stuff was happening both internally and externally, politically and personally. And it just wasn't conducive for my well-being, my mental health. I did not feel good. And so I embarked on a journey of expediting my high school experience by 1 year by going to not only the high school I was originally going to, but another one where I was able to do independent self-learning. So basically what that means is I was given a syllabus for each subject. So think math, the humanities, science, what have you. And so I was given a syllabus, and a syllabus is just listing all the assignments that I need to do, all of the readings, everything. And there would always be a specialist teacher in the classroom. So I would move classrooms at this school, but it was a very small school, and there were different teachers and also assistant teachers there to help. It was amazing. It was a school that usually was associated with delinquent children, are just like troublemakers or just people who don't fit well into the traditional American high school routine style. And so what I basically did is I just rammed through all of my assignments so I'd be able to graduate high school a year early. There was certain requirements that you needed to meet in each subject every single day, and every single day I exceeded that by doing, more work outside of school, doing work on the weekends. And so I was a really busy, studious child at that time, particularly. At the same time, I was, acting and in my high school's local production, which I have to clarify, I don't mean to sound like a snob or anything, but this is not your average high school production. This is a $6.2 million theater. A lot of investment has gone into not only the aesthetics, but the hiring, the equipment. Like, these performances and were just like special. They were really well done, really well executed. It was toxic as fuck in that environment, but the results kind of speak for themselves. But yeah, it was a very posh, fancy production that I was in, and that took a lot of my time. I also was doing wrestling for a little bit, as well as just keeping up on my normal like gym routine. So I would try going to do like 3 to 4 times a week. So your boy was busy, and when he was not doing that, he was hanging out with his friends. And so I really was unable to even like get into any trouble. There were students at my alternatives high school, which is College Hill High School, and the other high school, the one that I was at starting my freshman year as Corvallis High School. At College Hill, during our breaks, because even though it was self-taught, you would still have like allocated breaks. Even during breaks, like there'd be a lot of students who would go across the street to the corner and just smoke weed or cigarettes. And because I'm a social butterfly, I would go, but I wouldn't partake. And that was definitely my prerogative, especially during that time of my life. But the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is because I would go out there quite often, but all the teachers and staff knew that I personally was not partaking. So like, even though I was a affiliate, like, I don't know, guilt, I wasn't guilty, but guilty by association, I wasn't actually, and no one would have figured or thought or had assumed otherwise. So that's just how much of a life I did not have. 2017 comes around, I graduate, and then I already have my kind of like next move. I applied to a screen acting school in London, which was the Met Film School in Ealing Studios. I applied for that, and I had gotten in, and so what my plan was going to be was to go there for 6 months, kind of like experience a different culture, be somewhere else, and literally be anywhere but where I'm from. Go to Santa Monica College in Los Angeles for 2 years, and then ideally transfer to like USC, make it a little cheaper, and still study acting, maybe do some like media communication stuff, but primarily focusing on acting. And so that was like the plan that I had laid out for myself, and I was pretty content with it. I come to London, and there's a lot of growth, self discovery, exploration, culture clashes like you would not believe. Yeah, I stepped on a lot of people's toes. A lot of people stepped on my toes, and I was 17 at the time, just turned 18 at the time, and so I was still very immature in a lot of ways, but in a lot of other ways I was very mature. Like, you kind of have to be if you're going to like work hard, put your head down for 2 years just so you'd be able to graduate high school a year earlier than move to a foreign country and do something as promising as screen acting. Yeah, I complete the course. I've learned a lot. I feel very cultured and accomplished, but my gut is telling me that you need to find a way to get back here. So I go across back home to Oregon. I spend the summer working at a movie theater, and then like I think it's either late, this was like late July. I was cleaning one of the movie theater rooms by myself. The song Good as Hell by Lizzo was playing, and that was the first song of hers I actually ever Shazammed or heard. And so I was like, oh, I knew this song back when it was like post movie theater, post movie cleaning theater type song that only the crew at AMC would be hearing, not even the customers. So I felt like I was like, oh, look at me. I know what's popping before it pops. But she's also apparently been not so appropriate to her employees and stuff. So let's put that aside. Okay. I end up like starting to like have this like physical like reaction, and I'm just like, I have to like try getting back to London now. So I call my mom and I asked her like, can you help me? Like, I want to go back to London. And she was really excited for me to do that. We applied to the University of West London, which was the university literally across the street from the Met Film School. Also, sorry guys if you keep on hearing my chair and the desk. I'm sorry. I'm working on like not moving as much. Let's see if we can stop moving as much. Yeah, and so I applied, and like a week and a half later, not even 3 weeks. This was also like right at the last time that you could like apply. And also keep in mind, I was going to go to Santa Monica College I had gotten in, essentially, but if I wasn't going to get into the University of West London, then I wasn't going to be going. Like, that was the only school I applied for. Uh, I think I was really feeling myself. That's how cocky I was. I mean, granted, in hindsight, it's not the best school, but yeah, it was a good enough school where it counted socially, um, culturally, if you want to say that. I don't know, and just like resource wise, it was all right. So I get in. I'm studying media and communications, like with a focus in media production, and I do that degree for 4 years. I usually it's 3 years, but because I do not test well on the ACT, I had to take foundation year, which was basically a wasted year of like money going towards education, but it wasn't like a wasted year for me because I was living it up. I was living in London, baby. London town. And of course, the pandemic comes in and that like really changes the dynamic of everything. A lot of international students were just like completely effed when COVID lockdowns happened because they didn't have like their family, and then a lot of their friends they weren't able to see and stuff. And the first 2 weeks of lockdown was hard. I had no idea how much more difficult it would be. I couldn't. The only thing you could do is go to the grocery store, and that was basically it. There were no classes, and then my apartment building, which is a student accommodation building chapter, they 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 shut down the gym to like prevent the spread of COVID. And now I had a mental breakdown because that's the only thing I was waking up for. Because as I said, we didn't have any classes. We weren't able to go outside unless we were to do a food shop. And so going to the gym was literally the only thing I could like wake up for and do. And that was taken away from me. So I freaking have a panic attack. I melt down. I call my parents, tell them that I like can't handle it. And also like I'm shit scared, right? 2020, I'm 20 years old. I recently turned 20 years old, so technically I'm no longer a teenager, but I am an adult. No, and it was just terrifying. I don't want to go too much into all the pandemic woes because I don't think we need to be focusing on that right now. But yeah, so I moved. So basically what happened was I panicked. I called my parents. That night they booked me a early morning flight the next day to go back to Oregon, and I packed everything up in my room and I put it in the building storage because I I knew I was gonna. I was optimistic. I don't know why I'm doing quotes. I was optimistic that I was gonna come back, right? I just didn't know when that would be. So if I need to stop paying for my room, I want to make sure that there's nothing in the room. And all my shit is like where it needs to be, which it thankfully was. I was worried a bit, but it worked out. So I think for me, I was the first amongst my friends of international students to like actually like go back to their home countries because I was just I don't know, I guess I must have just been the most mentally unwell out of everyone. So I go back and my parents don't have like a place for me to live. My parents are split. They're divorced, by the way. They divorced when I was 8, so different houses, but they've both downsized. Well, one of them didn't really downsize, but was renting out all of the rooms. And so they had to put me up in a hotel for 4 months. Half of that time I was down in Corvallis, and the other half I was in Portland, which is an hour and a half commute. And I was there till June, and then I flew back to London, got my own place in Bayswater, Queensway, off the Central Line. And that was like the best place to huddle down. It had a little terrace. I was able to just chill, relax, have who I want over. By then, the context of the virus is different. I would soon be getting vaccinated. So it was just a different time. Schooling online was horrible. It was horrible when it first started, back when I flew back to Oregon. Which, keep in mind, I had some classes at 2 a.m. because of where I was, which is not great. It's not ideal, but it's definitely worth it. Because I grew up in a small town, but like a bunch of trees, a lot of protected land, a lot of outdoor activities that one can do, and that is very limited in London, which is one of the things. Yeah, it's one of the icky things about living here, but let's not focus on that. School is shit. I had like this very real scare of like not actually getting my diploma based off of like a small little fucking technicality. Again, that was fucking traumatic because I wasn't even in London when this was happening. I was in another country. I was in Bulgaria of all places. That's a story for another time. But yeah, it was rush. I mentally was depleted. I had no creativity anymore. I didn't want to look at a screen. I was so unhappy. I was so burnt out that I didn't even try like getting a job right after, or I didn't try extending my visa because I was just so mentally unwell, and there was a lot of personal stuff that was going on that I wasn't going to be able to resolve if I was still in London. So it was, my gut was telling me again, it's time to go back home. And yeah, so I went back home. I got a job for a little bit working as an educational assistant at a local school in my town. Then I ended up getting a job working for the Oregon State Legislature as a committee assistant. That's another story for another time. But it's one of my first videos. I will not share it with you guys. You'll have to go and look at it yourself, or just wait and I will make a better video. And then I traveled across the country in a camper van that I retrofitted, and I did that for a year and lived in Washington, D.C. as like a home base across the entire North American continent, three and a half times. And during that time, I applied to do a master's at the University of Westminster because I was getting more and more radicalized in wanting to be involved in like politics and become a public servant. I'm still very much an actor. Okay, that sounds really bad. But trust me, I'm not acting my political beliefs, but I still very much like acting, and I know that that's still going to be a huge part of my future. So I'm going to be getting into that again. Actually, I need to reach out to someone on my cheer team to plan a time when we can take new headshots. But yeah, that's something that's going to be happening that I'm really looking forward to, and I can't wait to share that experience with you guys. Being an international student is trifling and hard and difficult, and yet you're given a lot of privilege, leniency, freedom, and exploration. And it's something that I never like grew up thinking was going to be me. I didn't think I was ever going to be like I didn't know like being an international kid was going to be in my wheelhouse, in my deck of cards. And I think that some the things that kept on pulling me back to London, specifically, is just like I feel connected with the rest of the world. I feel like anything is possible. I am not originally from here, and so there's just a lot of stuff that I don't know, for better or for worse, culturally I don't know or can't recognize, and so it's still like kind of like a new learning curve, and I'm just being made aware of more things. And also, when I get money again, once I get money again, it's a great place to like, you know, travel from and stuff. Also, I just noticed my light is quite dark. I probably should have done that sooner. I don't know. This is make me flush out. And I'm like, you add on the fucking pandemic. Like, I don't know how anyone was supposed to come out of that unscathed, but apparently there's a sizable amount of people who just like flourished during all this. But yeah, being a international student, I just love it. obviously it's a privilege. You know, not everyone has the ability, but seeing that I am at least $60,000 in debt for my student loans, and that I have nearly 3 max credit cards, I think it's safe to say that the financially competent approach to this lifestyle was not is not my lived experience as of right now. But I think that just kind of goes to show how amazing being an international student is, being an international kid is. I know I'm 25, not a kid anymore, but I think you guys can understand where I'm coming from when I say international kid. Let me know if you yourself are an international kid. If there are questions you have, I don't know if there would be, but we could make a video about it. I want to share more, and now that I have like a decent mic, okay. I know it's not perfect, guys. You don't have to go rush into the comments. I know it's not perfect, but it's great. It's great. Yeah. Anyway, guys, with that said, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. I will see you in the next video, but until then, peace and love. Bye.